few days ago, Apple announced its new iPhone lineup for 2017-2018, and the headline item is probably the price, but more on that in my main feature in a few minutes. The star of their show was the iPhone X, catching up to the likes of the Galaxy S8 and LG G6 with the now trendy 2:1 screen aspect ratio, no home button, and a dodgy looking cutout at the top of the phone. In fairness, there's a lot of camera tech in the cutout for doing reliable face unlock, even in the dark, via infrared, but I was slightly appalled that Apple's first-party software was freely using the screen ears rather than using the traditional black status bar as the obvious way to obfuscate the cutaway area on an OLED screen. Oh well, tweaks incoming, no doubt. The iPhone 8 and 8 Plus were also announced, all with new, faster internals and even more capable cameras. All three models now have glass backs and standard Qi wireless charging. Hey, didn't I have this on my Lumias back in 2012? Yep, still Apple throwing their weight behind Qi will boost that side of things across the world more than Nokia ever did. As a fan of phone speakers, I was heartened to hear Apple say that the stereo speakers on the iPhone are now 25% louder and with better bass. As an imaging fan, I was pleased with all the camera improvements, the highlight of which is a computational portrait lighting feature using both multiple cameras and immense processing power to simulate various studio lighting setups. A lot of the iPhone X's day-to-day practicality has yet to be seen, of course, with gestures replacing home button actions with Face ID unlocking still posing as many questions as it answers, and with the usual fragility of an expensive all-glass phone a major worry. Now, one of the oldest adages in the English language is rather bad grammatically: you pays your money and you takes your choice. Never has this applied so much to the phone world as in late 2017. We have the likes of the Wiley Fox Swift 2X, the Nokia 6, the Moto G5, Android phones around the £200 mark here in the UK, including VAT. Expensive enough that they're demonstrably decent in terms of materials, build, design and components, yet reasonably priced. Any of these £200 phones should be good enough for anyone watching this, if we're honest. Maybe the screen isn't quite as ridiculously highly spec'd as a flagship, maybe the camera's not quite as good in low light, but in terms of doing 99.9% of what you and I do every single day on your phone, they're all great choices and all pretty clean implementations of Android, all kept bang up to date, no showstoppers. £200. £200, that's the benchmark, I contend. And everything above this reflects the law of diminishing returns. You're paying for a slightly faster chipset, a slightly higher contrast screen, a slightly better camera and speaker, and so on. So why pay more? For most people, most of the time, the answer is you don't need to. And at this price point, or a lowly amount per month on contract, you don't have to treat the phone like a piece of jewellery, worry about losing it or scratching it or dropping it or damaging it too much. True, £200 is still a chunk of money, but it's a manageable risk. So why do people pay more? Well, a number of reasons. I paid more effectively for my current ZT Axon 7 because I wanted the loud stereo speakers, the Dolby Atmos, the high amplitude microphones and more. I think this runs about £300 plus still. You pay even more, perhaps £500, so more than doubling my benchmark price if you want something with the very latest Snapdragon 835 chipset like the Galaxy S8 here, and more RAM, and ensuring an utterly lag-free experience. You pay more if you want full waterproofing, again, Galaxy S8. This costs lots of R&D money to make happen, and you pay more if you want a better, or indeed a dual camera with OIS. You pay more if you want a bezel-less experience, again, Galaxy S8, iPhone X, Galaxy Note 8, etc. That's a luxury that's going to quickly become a commodity, I think. You pay extra for a stylus, of course. The Note 8 has everything I've just mentioned, and it's well over £800 in the UK, so 4 times now my benchmark price. Finally, of course, you pay a bit more if you want an Apple logo on the back of your phone. Okay, so I'm being snarky here. I've just rewatched the iPhone 8 and iPhone X launch, and Apple do put a lot of research and genuinely high quality tech into their phones. You're helping pay for all that research and development. But the iPhone X maxed out with 256 gigabytes of internal storage is, and you'd better sit down, £1,150 in the UK here, almost 6 times my benchmark price. But it doesn't stop there, for these super expensive phones kick other factors into play. Quite apart from being so valuable you can't use them as is, so you need to cover them in plastic or leather, there's the matter of insurance of some kind, either as part of a contract deal or bought standalone. There's simply no way anyone can buy a mere phone for over £1,000 and live with it being gone in an instant if dropped or stolen. So allow another £20 for a decent case and another £100 a year for insurance, taking that iPhone 10 price to almost £1,300. Now that's a bit crazy. But I'm not trying to dissuade you from spending whatever the heck you like on the smartphone of your dreams. I've made something of a career out of never being satisfied with PDAs and then smartphones, always on the lookout for something better, something perfect. And if the perfect device was to be created, super screen, super camera, super speakers and microphones, massive battery life and so on, then why shouldn't price be no object? After all, we spend most of our life staring at this modern miracle, helping us through every day, every situation, in which case even £1,000 is probably justifiable. But whatever you do end up lusting after, just bear in mind the tremendous price gamut mentioned, £200 benchmark, right up to £1,200 plus at the very top end. Go into your purchase and probable protection with your eyes open. Talking of iPhones, the iPhone 8 Plus is the star of the very next phone show in a week or so.